Week 1 waiver wire. Who are the players to grab preemptively before week 1 actually occurs? That's why we're here. Leagues are won based on add and drop players that potentially get missed maybe in the draft process or get cut right before week 1. We're going to dig through the top waiver wire players. Who might be the best pickup of the year? Is there a Kyren or a Puka? Remember, Kyren and Puka were both the best pickups of the year the same year. And so when is a full load drop of your fab dollars, in order? Should you gamble on rostering a couple of these players now or keep an eye on them? We're going to get through all that and more. The Fantasy Football Show Week 1 preventive measures preemptive waiver wire show begins right now.
From the FantasyFootballShow.com studios, it's the Fantasy Football Show. Monday through Friday, 8 p.m. Eastern. Smitty is also live whenever news breaks.
All right, so this is not our first one. We've done 3 or 4 of these. This is the current preemptive pre-week 1 waiver wire board. And atop the list overall, across all the positions, is Ollie Gordon. And it's not even close. This is by far and away the best pickup maybe of the year. And he's sitting on waivers in an uncomfortable amount of leagues. And your boy's just been beating a dead horse on this topic for over 2 weeks now. Just making sure that a lot of you don't leave him out there and head into your week 1 and meander on into my live stream on Tuesday morning and say, Smitty, how much fab should I drop on Ollie Gordon? In fact, I'm going to create a button and a video drop, some sort of animation that when people ask me a ridiculous question about Ollie Gordon walking into week number 2, and they say, Smitty, do I pick up Gordon? Do I grab him? How much fab dollars? I'm going to hit a button that's going to, drop clown emojis or something because I can't scream this loud enough. And in a live stream, time and time again, every 5 minutes, I get a message that says, Smitty, should I drop my potential Manungai, or should I drop maybe Jaden Higgins or Jalen Lane, or maybe Tyler Higbee for Ollie Gordon? After I literally sit here and go, Ollie Gordon's a league winner over and over and over. This guy's a monster in the making, whether you want to buy into it or not. I can only do so much. And all I can tell you is that there are 2 ways to look at this. If Achane stays healthy all year, which I'm fully anticipating, this is not a anti-Achane prediction or pick or anything like that. If Achane stays healthy, we might be out of the marker. This is still a Mostert and Achane environment. Achane was getting 7.8 yards per carry when Mostert was ripping off top 10 running back numbers during Achane's rookie year. Achane was at his most efficient level, and we want Achane back to that. More efficient, less work, more efficient, more fantasy production, more fantasy points with less carries and less up the gut work. This guy's an up the gut specialist, and he's going to get you in a worst case scenario 10 touchdowns plus. If, let's say, Achane stays healthy all mother freaking year, which I firmly believe and hope happens. This is not a rooting for him to get into the lineup. But Gordon is going to definitely get this safe floor running back 3, potentially, maybe even very low end running back 2 numbers from a sharing the workload role with Achane. And this is not a negative sharing the workload. He's not going to run more than 220 times a year, and they're going to run the ball over 400 times on the ground. So Gordon's going to get 800 or 900 or even 1,000, but let's call it 900 yards and 10 or 12 touchdowns in a scenario where this is his floor, where Achane's healthy and balling out to top 5 running back numbers all year. Achane top 5 running back, Gordon's getting 910. And that's your potential almost league-winning flex play. But if this man goes down, this is the built-in superpower value that Gordon holds. It's a dormant, I'm going to rise up and become the chupacabra of the fantasy football world and be the monster that no one wants to face. If Achane goes down, that built-in sleeping giant value vaults him into the top, RB 6 to 10. This will be a top 10 running back. Everyone's rankings will be number 6, number 7, number 5 every single week. You'll see sometimes his matchup will have him as the running back 3 or running back 4. That's if something happens to HN. League winner, there's no doubt in my mind. And we've said this before. We've had 2 full load drop players this offseason so far. Load drop meaning you drop all your fab.
Initiate full load drop.
And that would be for 10 out of 10s. Anybody that's a 10 out of 10 potential odds of being the best pickup of the year usually does not occur in the offseason. We usually have maybe 1, maybe 2 10 out of 10s all year long. We've already got 2 10 out of 10 full load drop players. This was predicted by us. We invented these 2 individuals. This is not we're getting on the train early. We've been talking about this for a while. Croskey-Merritt, Ollie Gordon, we invented these 2 players. While people were in their mother's womb or they were sharding in their diapers, we've been talking about this, but the values have been going up. And he's no longer available on waivers, he's going in the 7th or 8th round. Consider this a success story by the channel, because on our preemptive week 1 waiver wire video, we've done 3 or 4 of them. He's been at the top of it the entire time when he was nowhere near being anointed the potential starter of the Washington Commanders before they moved on from Brian Robinson Jr. So this is a 100% success story. This is a testimonial. This right here is on the rise of becoming the same thing, and he is absolutely the best pick of the year as of right now, and you get to do it now. You get to grab him now. If you got screwed in your draft, I've been telling you for how long now? And I can't avoid that. If you drafted HN and you don't have Gordon, your mom's ashamed of you. I'm ashamed of you, and you're taking a big fat lap.
Take a big lap. We don't need.
Take a lap.
Now, looking at the rest of this board, I mean, Croskey-Merritt is probably no longer available, but I left him on here. It's a success story, like I said. But there are some scenarios where he's available, so just make sure you check. Jaden Blue is kind of like the Croskey-Merritt and Gordon in waiting. You know, people don't really, they're worried about his injury. He's fine. He's gonna potentially play in week 1, or he'll be ready to go. Blue might climb up in week 4, week 3, week 6. We don't really know, but he's certainly a player that you need to grab and make sure is not out there if you can house the extra RB. Brashard Smith is in the same boat. He's not in the starting lineup yet, like Blue isn't. But at the same time, these guys are also going to get work. Brashard Smith specifically with Rice out for 6 games suspended. Brashard's he's a running back, but he's been running with the wide receiver 1s in camp. Not just every once in a while, like a lot. And he's a converted wide receiver successfully, because he had 14 touchdowns on the ground, 4 receiving, and almost 1,400 rushing yards in college, 300 and something receiving. He's just a marvel. A successful wide receiver converted to running back, but because he's such a natural receiver, they're probably going to use him all over the field. And Andy Reid has said, I want to get in the ball as much as possible as a rookie, and right away. So very exciting. Sampson and Judkins. Judkins, the news that he's probably going to sign his rookie contract this week, if not today or tomorrow or whatever. The NFL still could potentially hand down some sort of discipline. We don't fully know yet. The league has not made anything clear, but that could also not be the case. So we just got to monitor that, but don't be surprised if that does or doesn't happen, honestly. And then Sampson is still in the driver's seat right now, ahead of Judkins, but Judkins could, because of the draft capital, climb back in. But who knows? Sampson's a better player. I've said that all offseason. I don't care what anybody says. The people that tell me I'm crazy are Judkins owners. Great. Well, hopefully your Judkins shares work out for you, but those people are loud. They have Judkins. That's why they're mad at me. Keaton Mitchell, league-winning dormant player that could still play at near running back 4 value and good bye-week potential spot duty work. Very exciting player. A little bit of H-hand to his game, obviously, and he averaged 8.0 yards per carry during H-hand's career or record-setting NFL historical high of 7.8 yards per carry. He was averaging 8.0 before he tore his ACL during his rookie year. So love Mitchell. He looks like he's got his explosion back. Definitely a good stash. If you have Bucky, you must have the handcuff, Sean Tucker. He is the handcuff. It's not Rachaad White. People that say Rachaad White are casuals. They don't know what they're talking about. It is, in fact, Sean Tucker. And Sean Tucker is probably I would say he's almost as important as the guys on this top 6 board, but Sean Tucker is one of the most important handcuffs, and he's got a little bit of standalone value. But if anything ever happened, let's say Bucky got abducted by aliens safely, knock on wood, and got returned to us safely, but he missed an entire season, Tucker would go crazy. This is the cuff board. Gordon, as we mentioned earlier, probably the most valuable handcuff in fantasy because Sharps is starting to trend a little bit towards standalone, maybe the starter at some point. So this will move over. Bigsby, Tootin, very good players. Mitchell, I just talked about Benson. Brashard Smith, just talked about Brashard Smith. He's going to be unbelievable. So these are the RBs. Taj Brooks, cuff him to Chase Brown. Rodriguez, you can cuff to Croskey-Merritt. Nick Chubb, I don't want. Giddens is pretty decent to cuff to JT, but the offensive line, the field position, like there's a lot of reasons I would say I'd rather have somebody else than Giddens, but it's someone to monitor. Monungai's got some intrigue later, but I think that the Bears maybe trade for a running back at some point, ETN, or maybe they trade for Kenneth Walker. We'll have to see. That's kind of my prediction for the Bears as things don't go as planned with Caleb, and then they end up having to make some sort of move to keep him, simplify things for him and put the onus on the run, not just on Caleb, because I don't think Caleb will be able to handle it. So moving over to the wide receiver front, Tesla is by far and away the top wide receiver option. Even though he's in this wide receiver 3 role in a very crowded Detroit Lions pass catching room, he's one of those players that at the end of the year, the numbers are there. I'm not saying he's going to be a wide receiver 2 in fantasy. I'm not saying anything of the sort, but I do believe that this is a player that will be so efficient that at the end of it all, he just has like 6-7 touchdowns. He has a couple of those big spike weeks, and he's just going to be very ultra efficient. Partly not because he is good, but not just because of that. It's going to be because his skill set, his ability to go get a jump ball, a 50-50 ball. The head of hair on this kid, he looks like the Lionheart. He's just going to have design plays for him. They're just going to say, hey, go get this football. And the design plays, the manufactured third downs, they need the first down. They're marching down the field and they're leaning on this kid instead of other players because the defense will be focused on St. Brown. They'll be focused on J-Mo. He's going to have a lot of nice matchups and mismatches. So I expect him to just be ultra efficient and have a lot of dialed up manufactured plays that are just going to be efficient. And so he's one of my favorite players right now to grab off of waivers or just put in a wide receiver 4-5. Like, let's say you got 2 flexes, 2 wide receivers, 2 running backs, and you have this weird fourth, second flex spot, but 4th wide receiver, and you're like, I got Tesla. You put him in, you plug him in, you say thank you. I think Thornton Jr. might be a tad more of an unveiling, maybe not. But this is also a monster to have on your squads, especially in Dynasty. Luther Burden, I believe, does make noise. DJ Moore has been running some reps at running back, and I'm not saying that sticks fully, but they're obviously trying to use these players in Chicago in unique ways, and I think Burden will become the St. Brownish player at some point. He's a dog. His mentality is dog-like. His coach loves him. They drafted him. This is Ben Johnson's guy that he handpicked. So eventually, just like Tootin in Jacksonville at the running back position, that Liam Cohen wanted Tootin and wants him to eventually be the guy. I think Burden eventually will be this amazing player that just is getting the football and has good efficiency like Tesla. Keenan Allen's interesting. Horton's interesting. Thielen, Mims is very interesting if he can stay healthy. Bateman's solid. Pat Bryant could be the Mike Thomas for Sean Payton. We'll see. And that would mean Mims would probably fall to the wayside. But one of those guys will probably thrive. Ayo Manor is a pretty decent wide receiver option in Tennessee. Someone's got to thrive in Tennessee. If it's not Ridley, I think Ridley will. But Hollywood Brown's interesting. Chisholm's a solid pick, the Chismeister. There's a decent group. This wide receiver list is good, but really it's Tesla, it's Burden, it's Thornton, and Horton. Horton's a really strong candidate to be the surprise rookie receiver of the year past the big dogs. And so just keep an eye on all these guys. They're really good. As far as quarterbacks, Dart's out there. Milton, if you got Dak, you got to have Milton. But Milton could be a secret weapon dynasty guy. Milroe's a secret weapon dynasty quarterback. And there's not a whole lot, I would say, on the quarterback front right now, other than speaking it from a dynasty or a super flex perspective. So Milroe and Dart are great in super flex, great in dynasty. Fannin Jr., is probably going to be the surprise tight end of the year after we talk about guys like Tyler Warren and big name players, of course. But from an unknown, from a rags to riches perspective, I really think that Fannin Jr., I don't know if I have a graphic for Fannin Jr. Let me search for it real quick, and then I'll go full screen. Fannin Jr. is someone that I believe will rise up like a phoenix and take the fantasy league world by storm. Fannin Jr. is such a monster. People don't know that out of all the wide receivers in college football last year, all of them, I'm talking about Hunter, Ted McMillan, I'm talking about Jeremiah Smith, Fannin, a tight end, led all wide receivers and pass catchers in the nation in receptions. He also led all of the wide receivers, including all those guys, in yards, and he was top, I think, 13 or 14 in touchdowns. So he almost had the triple crown. To be a tight end and lead all of those receivers in receptions and yards is unbelievable. And they drafted him for a reason. And Fannin Jr. might become a top 5 to 7 tight end in this league. And I don't think it takes shape until a little bit later because Njoku's there. But Njoku gets hurt a lot. And Fannin is essentially like Evan Ingram can be a receiver for this team. You know, even though he's lining up as a tight end, it's an unfair cheat code. He's a joker, just like Evan Ingram is. But this is a player that's going to play wide receiver for the Browns. He's playing wide receiver for the Browns whenever they decide to use him, and he's going to be unreal. And this is a must-grab player. Smitty approved snagging him in every single dynasty league you're in. And in the weirdest and deepest of leagues in redraft, you could consider it, or best ball, grab them if you're doing a final handful of puppy fours or something on Underdog. Promo code Smitty, by the way, links in the description. Use code Smitty. It's a $10 minimum. They'll match your first deposit 50% all the way up to $1,000. And there's a nice little Barkley play right now. Barkley 0 yards over. Just smash that, add it to one of your contests, and so go check that out right now. Barkley 0 yards over. Just got to get a yard. So go get that gimme. And anyway, that's it. That's the waiver wire board. Let me show it one more time. Preemptive, Fannin. Make sure Likely. You could grab Likely. Depending on your IR spot rules, you can put him on IR. But Fannin is the guy. I like Ben Sinnott eventually. If Zach Ertz can't stay healthy. Arroyo's a very crafty potential superstar in the making if he gets the right tender loving care. But Fannin's the guy here. Ben Sinnott, Gadsden's good. Conco is interesting. Again, eventually Milton. If Milton gets in there, not saying he's taking Dak's job. I love Milton. Milton will be a freaking NFL superstar if he gets in there, and he just won't let the job go, I think. Regardless of how good Dak is, Dak's going to ball out this year. Pickens and Lamb and the defense being bad is going to be very much the formula that the Bengals have been working with for the past couple of years. But eventually Milton will get in there somehow, some way, and he's not going to let go of it. Milroe, same thing. I give Darnold 2 weeks, 3 weeks before the fan base is just calling for Milroe. Tesla, Thornton, Burden, Horton, Keenan Allen's interesting. Mims is interesting. Tillman's interesting. A.O. Manor is interesting. This is a solid group of wide receivers, but it's all about Gordon, baby. It's all about Gordon, all about croskey-merritt. It's already been about croskey-merritt. That's done. That's the success story. Blue, if I had to pick after Gordon, the Gordon success story is in motion. If I had to pick one after that, it's Blue, Brashard Smith, Keaton Mitchell. You know, those boys, I like the Brashard Smith value so much right now. Appreciate you all. Make sure you understand that I am live whenever big news breaks. I'm also live Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. Eastern. And I'm also live most every single midnight Eastern drafting with you. And don't forget, tomorrow, Wednesday, September 3rd, Scott Hansen's on at 6:30 p.m. Eastern. Make sure you set your alarms and be there. We want at least 1,000 people in the building once Scott joins the show. So please be there tomorrow, Wednesday, 6:30 p.m. Eastern. Scott Hansen on the show. See you all later.